Hello everyone, welcome to URBONUS podcast. I'm the host Donatas URBONUS. I'm joined by my colleague Rytis. Rytis, hi, and how do you feel being in a place where we will hear some greatest quotes of Luka Doncic, Giannis Antetokounmpo, Nikola Jokic? Because actually we're here in Berlin, in the press conference room, where all the remaining press conferences will be held. So it's a special position, my friend.
It is. I feel very privileged to be here and very happy to have another podcast with you because I was talking with various people from other countries, media people. Most of them said, when's the next podcast? I loved your episodes. Do more often during the EuroBasket. So I was really happy to get that positive feedback. And we're in Berlin in the press conference room. At one point, it seemed like a car crash. Our EuroBasket, because if Lithuania hadn't qualified for this knockout stage, probably most of our Lithuanian colleagues would be at home right now already. Just the two of us would be.
So you would have stayed there.
Yes, the plan was always to go up until the final day, but we never planned Lithuania to crash after the group stages. So happily ever after is my resume for the group stage.
Before we start, let's introduce our partners, Courtside 1891, the platform to watch FIBA games, and especially when it's a playoff time. So if you're not here yet, it's the best time to jump in on board. And we have a great offer for you. Basket 25 will allow you, our followers, to receive 25% off a max annual pass or a max EuroBasket event pass. So the code will expire until the end of the competition, so there's still plenty of time to use the promo code BASKET25 for the Courtside 1891 platform. And there will be some topics we'll discuss in this podcast, including the most intriguing playoff matchups, Luka Doncic 47-point nights, and our most impressive lineups of the group stage. But I just wanted to put it in the beginning because I just came from the Turkish national team media availability, I would call, and it just brought me back with good memories how good it is to have Ergin Ataman speaking on camera. And he complained a lot. We spoke for 10 minutes. It was the usual media session, but it was never like that. He spoke for 5 minutes with Turkish media and then with international media. Of course, he complained. So I decided to make this
list of complaints?
To get us through the list of complaints Ataman made in the last week, basically. I didn't even include all the complaints, but at least the major complaints. So let's begin with Ataman complaints. Playing time against France. They will start at 12 o'clock local time. What do you think?
I think this is shame. This is big disrespect to our nation, the greatest nation in the world. Turkish people in Berlin, they want to support the national team and they give us this ridiculous time slot so that there wouldn't be the full gym with Turkish flags supporting the team. It's shame on FIBA, but the Turkish people will be there anyway. No one can stop them and they will support the team with passion and heart.
Coach, but I think that the biggest problem is not the playing time. I think, the game will be on Saturday. So maybe a lot of Turkish people won't work on Saturday, on weekends. So I think that still from 3 or 4 million people, from Turkish people here in Berlin, they will have nice support from France. But at the same time, I think it's disrespectful time for such two great teams.
Why do you put such a great game with such good atmosphere
in Turkish,
in the time slot of 12 o'clock? You can choose other games that are not that interesting. Slovenia will win against Belgium. 40 points, I guarantee 40 points. Why do they play on better time than we do with France? Shame.
Shame. And especially when, as a coach, as you just said in the mix zone, that you will have to arrive to arena at 10:30. So it's, it completely changed the usual routine. I don't know, maybe it's kind of, they're used to it in Spain, when on the weekends they start games early, sometimes in France.
I wake up at 11. You want me to play a game at 12?
I agree. Okay, so another complaint. Ataman complains that there are still no decisions regarding this locker room fight. And you said that everybody forgot it. It happened a few days already. We still don't have any decisions. And as coach, you laughed that there was footage in locker rooms, I mean,
Yes.
video cameras, everything, but still we don't have any footage officially, no decisions yet. And for example, if there was a scenario where Georgia advanced to the next stage, we see all these players who possibly were in the fight still playing and not punished. So I agree with you, coach. I think it's unfair.
Is a disgrace. What they did to
Exactly.
Furkan, why are they afraid to admit? Is disgrace. We will not tolerate this.
What there were 22-second situation. FIBA rejected the protest of Turkish national team. I don't remember the particular explanation, but they just rejected it. And for me, it's impossible to understand how we pretend that 22 seconds in the fourth quarter, although it was some mistake by some technical equipment, as they said, that player during this brawl accidentally turned it on and the clock started ticking. But at the same time, why nobody noticed it and why nobody was punished? Because FIBA actually just today they announced that officially these officials from Germany, Lithuania game, including the table official, they're out for the end of the EuroBasket. But I think it's the same. This mistake was huge because we are talking about the fourth quarter and the middle of the fourth quarter, so we cannot just pretend that nothing happened here.
Unprofessional, disrespectful. In 22 seconds, Furkan, Chedi, and Shane can score 12 points and we win game.
Exactly, and also, coach, you got ejected in the overtime, and Cedi Osman, because you reacted to Cedi Osman's unsportsmanlike foul. But again, although I like to have a discussion and argument with you, coach, but again, I feel that it should be like in football, where you make a decision also based on reading the situation. And technically speaking, maybe there was unsportsmanlike foul for Osman, but at the same time, it still was intentional. And you're sure that even though you will touch the ball, it's still intentional. So I'm not so sure if that you guys deserved unsportsmanlike foul and of course ejection.
Terrible decision. No more comments. Shame.
2 more complaints. One last complaint was actually from this media session. In the end of the game, Spain and Turkey, Furkan Korkmaz got a technical foul, and I think it was either the last minute of the game or 39th minute of the game, because when Spain was doing inbound play, Furkan Korkmaz, he was like protecting the space near the line, but at the same time he went backwards and he stepped out of bounds. And coach, you already said that you don't agree in such a situation in the fourth quarter when the game was close, the game was tie. You don't give technical foul, but I think that I saw Alberto Diaz was penetrating and he really got his body, Korkmaz, stepping outside in the pass area. So I think it was deserved call, and I don't agree with you, coach. Sorry. The last complaint. Actually, what's funny, I didn't ask you to make all these comments in Ataman's words, but if you did it, it's
well, we're in a press conference room. I might as well just put up a show. But
one last thing.
Yeah.
Another complaint, Ataman, he was already complaining in Tbilisi for team bus being not late. No, they told that from the Hotimo Hotel to the arena, it takes to go to arena. It takes around 1 hour, and it's crazy by EuroBasket standards, by any standards, especially when you're in Tbilisi. It's crazy that the trip takes so long. And the worst thing is that when Turkish national team arrived to Berlin, they said that they have to wait for 2 hours for their luggage, and it appeared out that they had to cancel the practice later because they were late to come to the practice to prepare for the 8th finals. So. Once again, I kind of thought that maybe the summer organization problems were also related to the fact that maybe some of the host cities, the local organizing committees weren't prepared for that. But now we're witnessing some big organization problems here in Berlin, and it takes not only teams, but for example, media as well. I heard that Media Hotel is... Oh, you're staying in Media Hotel, right?
Yes.
And the first reactions I heard is like, hostel... There are no wardrobes. The rooms are very small, and especially for TV guys, I mean, it shouldn't be, they should have stayed somewhere else.
Well,
is it that bad?
There are pros and cons. Like, I love the fact that in this hotel on our television, we have Chromecast, so I can watch all the games from my tablet, streaming directly to the TV.
Okay.
That's the positive thing.
Yeah.
The negative things are those that you've mentioned, like we don't have a wardrobe. We basically don't have anything apart from a shower and 2 beds and a TV. So it's not the best conditions. However, it's really close to the arena. And since my favorite burger in the world is from Five Guys, Five Guys is so close. So that kind of compensates all these.
Were you on the line
things.
for the breakfast, or you just went to Five Guys?
I'm actually going to go there after our podcast, so just hurry up a little bit.
Okay, so the last media availability for Coach Ataman, the last media request. Hypothetical situation. Shane Larkin is officially out of EuroBasket. Group stage was difficult for you guys in Turkey. You're facing France. They're not terrible, but they're not great. Their Turkish representatives already threatened to FIBA that they will leave the EuroBasket because of what happened in the game against Georgia, with this fight in the locker rooms. There are still no decisions. Coach Ataman kind of feels that their chances to, go through France and to advance to quarterfinals are not really good. So maybe let's use this situation and just let's leave the EuroBasket in a scandalous way. Just shut down doors very loudly. So, Coach, this is the official press conference. Yes. We're in the exceptional press conference, and we have Turkish national team leaving the competition for scandalous reasons. What would be your word, your statement?
With Shane, with the incredible support of Turkish people in Berlin, on normal time schedule, we would beat France. Now,
it's obvious, of course.
No Shane, 12 o'clock game, unacceptable situation. Probably France will win. You know me, I always predict the game, the outcome correct. I said I win EuroLeague 2 times in a row. Did I win EuroLeague 2 times in a row? Yes, I did.
Yes, you could.
But now, there's no chance to beat France under these conditions. Again, shame.
Thank you, Coach. The last thing to say about Ataman. I mean, I think that FIBA, for FIBA, it was good to have best coaches, best players available. And Ataman always brings attention. And they were thinking we're going to have a lot of Turkish fans. We will have Larkin, all these NBA players on Turkish national team. And we will have Ataman. He will give us big quotes. And I think that it was the ideal plan I think that he's like Trojan horse sent by EuroLeague. And EuroLeague knew who Ataman is, and they kind of paid him or said something. Just go there and criticize everything. So in every media availability, he's saying all these big words. And, I just think that it's a big pain in the ass for FIBA.
During this whole EuroBasket so far, I've heard a lot of crazy conspiracy theories. Yours is probably the best so far. Like, Ergin Ataman is there to destroy FIBA from the inside, and he sent like a secret spy from the EuroLeague. Yeah. That makes a lot of sense now when you're saying it loudly.
Yeah. And then I think
so. You think like Jordi Bertomeu is paying him?
For sure. I think it all started from the friendly game against Greece when he was ejected. Because I don't know if you saw it, but EuroLeague Head Coaches Association made some tweet like, "Let us coach, no ejection," something like that. So I think it's a clear proof that EuroLeague is involved in this. So it's just a conspiracy theory, but I would dig into that story. Enough of Turkish basketball and Ataman things, let's say.
I mean, Turkey still plays France and...
Yeah, and we will probably discuss it in the...
Yeah, we're going to go through all our predictions, so we'll touch that topic later on.
Let's wrap up the group stage. And of course, on the last game of the group stage, we had this historical night. Luka Doncic scoring 47 points. And it was like a New Year celebration countdown, like just not counting not from 10-0 backwards, but just counting every point that Luka was scoring. And I remember, everybody was just checked what was the single game scoring record. And damn, it was this Belgium guy. I actually forgot. I didn't
63 points.
Yeah, I didn't know nothing about him.
It was in 1957 against Albania.
Yeah.
Probably there's no video footage of that.
Yeah, but the following records were beatable, and especially when I saw Luka making this off-balance, one-legged three-pointer
over Rudy Gobert.
I thought that this might be interesting night.
But that's not his record for the national team in the Olympics against Argentina. Did he score like 50, 51?
Could be.
You can fact check while I'm talking about.
I remember he was scoring high.
You can just fact check while I'm talking about Luka's greatness. And the thing is that after the
48.
48. So, yeah,
so,
that's 1 point more.
Yeah.
Not his personal record, but that was in the Olympics. In the EuroBasket, that's the record.
Yeah.
The funny thing is that after the first 3 games, he kind of struggled scoring. He was involving his teammates all the time. He was dishing all these assists, but scoring, you could say, maybe was an issue. They lost to Bosnia and Herzegovina. His shooting from 3-point range wasn't that great. He was 0 from 8 against Lithuania, 1 from 8 against Bosnia. And people were talking like he has that wrist injury. That's probably annoying. That's probably why he's not as aggressive attacking the rim. And then the game against Germany, 36 points. Then the game against France, he takes it to a whole different level, 47 points. And let's just put things in the context. In the first half, it seemed like he's going to play the whole 40 minutes. Also, Goran Dragic was playing without any substitutions. And then he was hit in the head by Vincent Collet's elbow. There was a lot of blood. People probably thought that he went to hospital because
I was sure he was out of
11 players went from the locker room to do the warm-up, shoot around before the third quarter, and Luka was not there. Head coach was coming back, and Luka is still not there. He was the last person to enter the floor, and everything seemed fine. He just carried on playing in the second half. He looked more angry in the second half. You didn't see him smiling as much. But, in that game against France, I just thought how I admire him, not only as a basketball talent, but how I admire his mentality. He doesn't want to just beat the opponent. He wants to humiliate the opponent.
Destroy you.
He gets the switch on Vincent Collet. He makes one quick move with the ball, and he sees like Poirier is already out of balance. And that's when he knows, this dude, I'm going to kill him. He scores one bucket, another bucket. Then he scores a free. And I'm thinking, how long is Vincent Collet going to suffer this switch all defense with Poirier? Because Luka just dribbles the ball and puts the finger, points the finger to Poirier and says, bring him to me. And he does that for 3 possessions in a row. And then in the 4th possession, he wants to do that again, but obviously France, they are changing the defense and he's doing the step out and he's going to help and recover. But for God's sakes, he's not gonna guard Luka anymore in ISO. But then another moment stuck to my mind. Luka on defense is saving energy, right? He's not really guarding anybody. He's just standing in a...
And they usually try to hide him
in a position
against the least dangerous player on the court.
He helps from the strong side, from the weak side, but he's just standing there in the corner guarding the least dangerous player from the other team. In this case, it was Luvavu Cabarrot. He's not shooting well in this tournament. Actually, I think he's cold. He's so
struggling
cold.
A lot.
Yeah. So in the first quarter, Luka is going to help because France was playing pick and roll with Rudy Gobert. So Luka is helping. And he leaves Luvavu Cabarrot wide open in the corner. And Gobert passes the ball to his teammate. And Luka looks through his shoulder and he sees that it's Luvavu Cabarrot wide open. So he just continues to stand there. He's just showing his back to Luvavu Cabarrot and just laughing. he was wide open. He missed the shot. Luka got the rebound, and then he's looking to Vuka Baro's face and laughing straight to his face. It's so disrespectful, but at the same time, so entertaining.
No, this kid is so bad if you're playing against him because, you know, even all these bench players, every time Luka scores and makes a big shot, usually he turns to the bench or to the coach and do some antics like putting his tongue out, just
flexing,
showing that he's always flexing you, staring you down. He's really trying to humiliate his opponents.
And I just love when Edo Muric hits a shot and Luka does the cooking sign.
By the way, a big shout out to Edo Muric, Vlatko Čančar and Žiga Dimec.
Yeah, they were without Mike Tobey.
You don't need any center. I mean, this team doesn't need any center. They can still match Rudy Gobert, Vincent Poirier, Mustafa Fall. I mean, one of the best front lines in the competition. Of course, if there was Gershon Yabusele, the conversation might have been different. But I mean, huge effort by these guys. Muric was also in some situations defending against Gobert. He made some clutch three-pointers at the second half. So what I loved about the game, and also, of course, about Luka, was that it felt like this team got even more united. But I think that they need some adversities. Before it was the game against Bosnia. Okay, Bosnians were great, but Slovenians were not the same. And the same happened against Germany. So Luka made some emotional speech in the end of the game that this is not the way we're going to make the finals. And it felt like, you know, they turned on and then they're playing without Mike Tobey. In the beginning of the game against France, it felt like they won't have a lot of chances.
By the way, how's Mike Tobey?
I think
that's the ankle injury when he landed on the referee?
Yeah.
I mean, he
he
landed on the referee. He hurt his ankle, but he played against Germany, and then
because he said that, you know, it hurt him a lot, but it was kind of hot, so the pain was not as big, as expected. Yeah. But later, as he said, you know, later on I will feel more pain, so probably Slovenians saved him. I don't know. We will have to ask this Slovenian national team how he is right now. But as we have this famous quote of Adam Hanga when we asked him about his injury, he said, day-to-day, like in NBA. So I think it's the same with Mr. Mike Tobey.
Well, they're facing Belgium. You could bet on them winning against Belgium without Mike Tobey. They can rest him. Actually, beating France was very important for two reasons. The first one is obvious, to take the first seed, which basically gives them the red carpet to the semifinal, in my opinion. And the second reason is revenge. Yeah. For Tokyo.
I think it also played part in
Did you see how they were celebrating after the game? Oh, it looked like they already won a medal.
Yeah.
The fans were going crazy. The team was
just
dancing.
A lot of things were in the mix. Luka's show, playing and winning without Tobey, and getting this revenge from the last year's Olympics.
While one camp was busy celebrating, the other camp was busy chasing the referees. I've never seen Evan Fournier, who is a very cool guy, just being so angry at somebody.
And Vincent Collet just grabbing referee almost.
Vincent Collet is probably one of the nicest coaches, the most polite and respectable coaches in Europe. You never heard him talking about some conspiracies. You never heard him talking about refs after the game.
Yeah, he was mad.
He's always respectful towards his colleagues. He's always respectful towards media, towards the players. The players love him. He's coaching France for how long? Like 12 years?
Yeah, since 2009, I think. Yeah.
If Vincent Collet is angry, you can probably smell that something's going wrong.
But the thing is that I watched the replay very closely. These two situations he pointed out about Slovenians stealing the ball. At first, it was crucial steal by Goran Dragic, I think. Yeah. It was like less than 2 minutes to play. The game was tied. He stole the ball and he scored the basket. To be honest, I watched a lot of replays in slow-mo. Yeah. Both of these steals, okay, the second one against Fourier, maybe it was 50-50, but Slovenians were already up by four, and it was like 30 seconds left. But this steal by Dragic, I think it was clean steal, and I don't have any complaints. But before, there were some important mistakes. I think that when Collet got a technical foul, it was when Goran Dragic traveled, and he really traveled. But instead, Dragic scored 2 points, technical foul for Collet, 3 points. This situation where Okobo was chasing down, I think it was Zoran Dragic, and it was fast break layup. I think that Okobo managed to blocked the shot before he hit the backboard. So I think that is wrong goaltending violation. There were some situations where Luka was making fouls against French players inside the paint, but referees, we didn't hear any calls. So I understand why Collet was angry, but probably emotions played the most part in the end of the game. Maybe it was also the combination of some previous calls. I don't know. But anyway.
Well, last thing I want to say about this great game of basketball, Slovenia, France, two elite teams, two teams that want to win the crown. Now for France, it's going to be more difficult, obviously, since they didn't win the group. And maybe they go through Turkey, but the quarterfinal will be very hard. But the last thing was that Luka scored 47 points with 65% shooting and 92% free throw shooting. These numbers are crazy. You can score 40 or more points, but you will never have 65% shooting, 54.5% from three-point line. And free throws were kind of bothering him in other games. And in the NBA, he's also not known for being a consistent free throw shooter. In this game, he was just making every single shot.
I remember just before this game, I think he had a good night against Germany, 36 points, but he was terrible from the three-point line.
Yes.
And I think that there was a stretch that in 3 or 4 last games, he was shooting threes like 1 of 8 against Lithuania, from 8 against Bosnia, and 2 of 8 against Germany. But still, it's like 3 of 22. The percentage was terrible. And I was about to ask Sekulic, Coach, if the game is on the line and you see Luka struggling beyond the arc, he has some wrist problems, do you prefer him penetrating or you're still okay with that 3-point shot? The next game comes. Also, before that game against Germany, I asked Luka, do you think, who's the favorites to make the EuroBasket single game scoring record? Oh, Giannis. After 24 hours, we see Luka Doncic going 6 of 11 from the 3-point line and scoring 47 points.
Yesterday, it looked like Giannis is going for the record against Estonia.
That's the question I have. Do you see anybody surpassing this number?
Not in a knockout stage, no. Only Luka himself. I could see him scoring 50 in a semifinal or in a final. I mean, Giannis, yes, he can crush any defense. But probably group stage games are those where you expect to see some records. In the knockout stage, especially from the quarterfinal stage, it will be so hard to imagine like somebody scoring 50.
I agree that only Luka probably can surpass it. Of course, when Giannis went for 25 at the half, I thought that, it's going to be interesting. But, if you want to score 50 points, you have to make 3-pointers. Neither Giannis can make like 6 3-pointers.
I mean, he can, but that would surprise. Would be
exactly.
Very
that would be a miracle.
Very
For
unlikely.
Luka, it's like very expectable.
The thing is that Giannis is probably not bothered by any records. He just wants to win with Greece.
And the Greece is protecting him a lot. They're not wasting his energy or health. He has some.
I was surprised that he actually played yesterday against Estonia. He sat out the Great Britain game because of some agreement with the Milwaukee Bucks, and they had the first seed clinched already. But maybe he just wanted to be in the rhythm and just play for 2 quarters against Estonia. But for some Estonian players, that should have been an experience of a lifetime. You're facing maybe the greatest player in the world right now. And then you're going to go back to playing for Kalev Tallinn or some other club. So that's impressive.
One last thing about Luka's nights. I interviewed his dad, famous Sasha Doncic. And the first funny thing was that after the game, he wanted to smoke so badly that we actually went to some area inside the arena. But he was smoking IQOS, so no smoking, no alarm detectors were activated.
Yeah.
And the first thing he asked Luka, because Luka was just going through the mix zone, and Sasha Doncic is doing TV stuff for Slovenian TV as an analyst, and they just spoke for like 10 seconds or something. And I was just asking him, so what's the first thing you talk about after 47-point night when you're making the second best scoring performance in all EuroBasket history? And he said that just, how's your head? And do you feel fine? Everything is all right. So he just said it. Yeah, he's cool. He's good to go. So that's some fatherhood stuff, I think. Okay. We finished with Ataman.
Hey, leave that to me.
Okay, sorry. I'm not stealing your job. I cannot be as good as you. Let's go to playoff matchups pretty quickly, because we won't analyze all the 8 finals matchups.
Yeah.
But we decided to split it in like 3 parts. The one is the matchup where you're waiting for an upset. Also the matchup that is hardest to predict, or the most tight matchup. And the other just to watch why it will be interesting for you to watch that matchup. So let's go for the most intriguing matchup.
To me, it's Spain-Lithuania. I know that the Spanish team is not as legendary as it was in the 21st century, but still, this is a historical matchup in EuroBasket. Also, the fact is, during the summer, we faced Spain in every single youth competition we've participated, whether it was the women's or men's tournament. So it's interesting to see Lithuania against Spain on national team level every single time. We've played them in 2 friendly games. I think Lithuania on paper right now is stronger than Spain. We're the 4th seed, they are the 1st seed, but that's the thing. As a 4th seed, we're probably the favorites of the game because of how tough the Group B was. So, but Lorenzo Brown and Villarreal Gomez playing pick and roll could be a problem.
Exactly.
So I'm not underestimating this team.
I'm just afraid
Sergio Scariolo is a smart coach. I don't think in those friendly games we've played, he showed a lot.
And there are a few things. I mean, probably you remember what Scariolo was doing in the Olympics last year, how he tried to stop Luka Doncic.
Box and one.
A lot of interesting tactical decisions in that game. And, once again, this competition for Spain, even winning the first place, okay, in a so-so group, but still, I mean, he managed to adjust to the roster he has. Again, he loves to play slow tempo basketball, to put opponents in more a defensive style game, which is good for this Spanish national team. And the way he managed, to make these guys click, his star players and some role players that many basketball fans outside the ACB league never heard of. I mean,
Dario Bricella, Jaime Fernandez. And those are not big names, but they're making names for themselves right now.
Yeah, and they're playing good roles in a very well-coached team. So I just think that too many Lithuanian people are underestimating this matchup, and they think that we will win easily. I don't think so, and it's not so good. I don't think it's good to play the same team for the 3rd time in almost a month, and it's even harder to win 3 times against Spain, even though they have this talent. So I predict very, very, very hard night for Lithuania.
In the end, I'm still predicting Lithuania to win, but it's going to be a tough game.
Yeah. My matchup that was hardest to predict was France-Turkey before I got the news about Larkin. So, I just thought that both teams were kind of struggling, and France just started to play a little bit better basketball, I think, starting from the game against not the Germany, but the previous one. Anyways, the last game against Slovenia...
They played the first one against Germany, and then Lithuania.
Yeah, I think the 2 last games of the group, they were already a bit better. We finally saw Okobo scoring, because we remember, how important it was to replace the Kolu. So Okobo started to score. He made some buckets against Slovenia.
Scored 11 points.
So a little bit they were improving. Turkey kind of the same. Maybe this chaos in the game against Georgia helped them to get more united. But now, without Shane Larkin, I just don't see that happening. They have a very short bench. They're usually playing like 6 or 7 man rotation. Most of their guys, they're playing 35 minutes. Yeah. As Ataman told, that they had a tough trip, and I just don't see them winning. I think France will pass them.
That's an interesting matchup because both teams play a lot of minutes with 2 bigs. with two centers, you can say.
Şengun
But
and
Turkish
Şengun.
centers, they can attack from distance, and,
Yeah.
and France just have like Poirier and
Not
Gobert.
easy matchup.
Yabusele is the power forward that can shoot from 3-point range. So
Yabusele is still questionable, and I think
Yes.
it's very important.
Yes. If
you
he
know,
doesn't
both
play-
offensively and defensively.
if he doesn't play, then Amat Mbaye, who's going to be coached by Ataman
Yeah,
next season, he will have some minutes probably.
Mm.
Yes, I agree that without Shane Larkin is a different picture. I'm predicting France to win, but
It's
I'm
uncomfortable
excited
opponent,
to see this game because of the crowd.
yeah. Mm.
I think Turkish people in Berlin will make a lot of noise. It will be one of the best atmospheres so far. So I'm looking forward to this game, even though it's at 12 o'clock and
Mm.
you know that I wake up kind of late.
Ooh, that's tough for Rytis.
But I'll have to work.
Yeah.
I will cover this game, so I have to wake up at least at 10 a.m.
The matchup you're waiting for an upset. As we discussed,
Probably
it's hard to expect any upset.
honestly, I would say none. But the one game where I could see it happening is Finland-Croatia.
I agree.
Well, first of all, Croatia wasn't really convincing in the group stage. Mario Hezonja had some terrible performances. They had to depend on Krunoslav Simon. We saw him like a veteran that might play a smaller role, but all of a sudden he has better numbers than Hezonja in this game, in this team. So Finland with Lauri Markkanen dominating on offense and Croatia not being very good defending, I could see that happening.
Mhm.
If Markkanen gets hot, if he scores like 35 or something like that, and Croatians don't play very good team basketball, I could see that happening. But the good thing for Croatia is that in the last two games, Bojan Bogdanovic was the best Bojan Bogdanovic so far in the tournament.
He's just FIBA Bogdanovic.
FIBA Bogdanovic, the last two games, he did everything. Post-ups, fadeaways, spot-up shots, penetrating, finishing with end one, missing the free throw on purpose because they needed to do that. So Finland, I can see that happening, but it's gonna be hard.
Yeah, I have the same pair for basically the same reasons. Especially, I will be excited
Our
to see.
podcast is getting viewers even before being released.
Yeah, that's nice. That's nice. If you want to be to join our audience,
We
you
should
just-
think about like selling tickets.
Maybe if we will have more Ataman impressions, maybe that works. I'm glad to see Markkanen live. I don't think I saw him in the previous tournaments. Either Lithuania was not there. Maybe there were some different groups, but
I did see him in 2017.
I'm not sure about
I-
that. Maybe I had some other duties.
I did
but-
see him, and
And
he
he
was
was already
good
cooking.
in that tournament. Although it was before his NBA rookie season, he was already very good.
Yeah, could be. And this question about an upset. What's an upset? What does it really mean?
Spain
example,
wins against Lithuania.
exactly.
It's not
Lithuania
an
is
upset.
the fourth seeded team, but talent-wise, they're
Yeah.
even deeper than Spain. So it's
Well, we can mention Germany, Montenegro could be tricky because of Perry and Dublevic, but German team is really quality right now, and at home they should win
the matchup.
one way or the other. It might be harder.
Yeah.
It might be a close game, but
Actually,
Germany should win.
Sasha Doncic told that that Montenegro and some other team, I just don't really. Maybe Belgium. He thinks that they might surprise, and there are just
Belgium?
Yeah,
They-
I know. Maybe
they-
he watched any Belgium game and he was impressed with that win against Spain. I don't know, maybe, but
But
that's Sasha's
Come
words.
on.
Yeah,
Slovenia, Belgium?
yeah.
Are you excited about that?
Not really. I mean, every game where Luka Doncic is exciting. It's like we have to value the opportunity to see him live and to
We
see
do,
his
but
performances.
In this particular game for Slovenia, the priority is that Doncic plays like 18 minutes and Dragic does the same. Like against Hungary, you just take that 30-point lead as early as possible, and then
yeah, that's the goal of
Slovenian
the game
fans
for
will
Slovenia.
be happy to see Luka Rupnik on the court.
Yeah. I think they were demanding Luka Rupnik.
Yes.
Luka Rupnik.
Yes, that's correct.
I just saw some video where Luka was also on that bench,
Yeah.
and it was JJ Barea, right? And I think that the Mavs fans were asking for Barea. He kind of stood up, but it was a fake sub. He wasn't about to go down the court, and he just came back. So Luka was laughing. Fans are also mad actually about that. But anyway, yeah, the matchup to watch for some personal reasons, completely personal reasons.
I mean, a matchup between two teams or two players?
That's a good question. I didn't think about it.
Uh,
Doesn't matter.
because,
We
like,
can be flexible. It's our podcast. We're in
Ukraine,
press
Poland,
conference. We're doing whatever we
Ukraine,
want.
Poland sounds like a random game,
Very
and one of
random.
these teams will go to the quarterfinals. Ukraine is playing some good basketball.
Mm.
Poland really surprised me. I didn't think they will take the second seed in
Yeah.
Group D. So it's an unpredictable game. It's probably, talking about the level of the game, it's closer to FIBA Champions League than a EuroLeague game or a EuroCup game. But one of these teams will be in the quarterfinals. And it's a big opportunity for both of those
Yeah.
teams. So,
Especially
and the
for
other,
Ukraine to put themselves
Yes.
on the map, not also just because of other things that are happening,
Well,
terrible things. But
I mean,
we don't remember the last competition. I think it was Michael Fratello, Ukraine national team, when they made the
when Jerome
second
Randall was
stage
cooking.
in 2013.
Yes, Jerome
Yeah.
Randall was cooking. They were about to host the EuroBasket, I remember,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
then terrible things, as you said, happened. And right now, because Russia is attacking Ukraine, the Ukraine basketball team is probably bringing a lot of joy to people. And Poland, they're our neighbors. So I'm going to watch that game. But I cannot predict who's going to win. Both teams look like equal. Maybe Ukraine have some advantages because of their bigs. And Sli Mikhailuk is a really
he's great.
talented
He's a great
player.
playmaker,
And
especially
Yusuf
for European
Sanon
basketball.
is actually surprising us in
Yeah.
the tournament.
And my matchup to watch is Serbia-Italy, because I cannot describe it as a real test for Serbia, but at least is so far the toughest test for Serbia. Okay, Italy is not very impressive, but Serbians are coming out of the group, which was, non-competitive for them. And especially, of course, to see Nikola Jokic once again live in EuroBasket gonna be great, because what's interesting about Nikola, that so far he's really happy in Serbian national team, and from what I understood, the others follow their leader. What Jokic did in Denver, I think it was before his MVP seasons, he started some new routine. After every home game, he was going to weightlifting room to work for an additional hour or something, to work on his body. At first, it was Latko Čančar who joined him. It was kind of, Balkan thing. But then the other players followed. And after every home game, basically all Nuggets players are going to weightlifting room. The same started to happen here in Serbia with other players. Nikola still keeps his routine, and other players are also joining him. So that's one of the, let's say, joyful things you can have coached by Svetislav Pešić, because he's still very hard with his video sessions, with his practices that are still hard, old school, good old grind. So maybe that's the thing that exhausts him. But at the same time, other than that, Jokic is very happy. Serbia is playing solid basketball. It's fun to watch his connection with Vasilije Micic, because when you think about it, when Micic was in 2019, he was, he was coming on that high level, but he still wasn't that MVP, EuroLeague Finals MVP killer. Now we have NBA MVP, Micic at his peak. So it's a pleasure to watch them.
They didn't play any difficult games.
Yeah.
The group stage was just too easy for them. And that could be a good thing, but also a bad thing. The good thing is obviously they saved some energy. No one's too tired. No one's too worn out. The bad thing is when you don't face serious competition and now all of a sudden you're playing Italy, that is a good team with some talent. They don't have big bodies to protect the paint. So for Italy, it's all about shooting the free. And that's the way they can hurt Serbia.
From our history, from our past, we can say that Italians might surprise with these 3-pointers.
2017, Serbia played Italy. The only reason Italy couldn't cope with Serbia was they didn't have any big bodies, and Kuzmic and Marjanovic, they were just unguardable. And now we're talking about Nikola Jokic. So the interesting thing is that Italy ended up in this situation. They played at home in Milan. Probably most of us predicted them the second seed in their group, behind Greece.
Yeah.
And boom.
Second or third.
Yeah, and boom, they finished fourth. Like Ukraine really messed up the group with their good basketball, and Croatia managed to squeeze some wins, and they're in a good position. They can go to the medal stage, actually, Croatia. because of that free throw Bojan Bogdanovic missed on purpose. And Italy, they will leave the tournament, they will leave the competition after the 8 finals. I respect Gianmarco Pozzecco, I respect Fontecchio, Melli, and all these talented players, but I don't really see them winning against Serbia, unless all of a sudden Nico Mannion starts playing, because so far Nico Mannion has been one of the biggest disappointments of this European Championship.
Yeah, so the playoffs starts on Saturday with the infamous Turkey and France game. And after the 8 finals, we'll do another podcast. But just to finish this one, we thought that it would be fun to, let's say, put up our top 5, just a lineup of the group stage, and to including players who were not maybe the best, because it would be easy. Giannis, Luka, Jokic, and
this
somebody else.
This is not an all-tournament team. This is like my own preferences, players that I really liked watching for
and who we
different
actually
reasons.
saw, because it was tough, to work in a group stage in Cologne, to watch some
I
other
did
games.
see plenty of games, actually. I spent a lot of time in my hotel room
Because
watching
during your
games.
days off,
Yes.
I mean, you could watch some games, and we were going to all these
I'm
practices.
not
and
working
doing stuff.
as a reporter here, so I'm just
So maybe
doing
your
my
5
own
will
stuff.
be, let's say, broader than mine.
Probably.
So
You want to start at point guard?
I mean, you can actually name all 5. I think we can
All
be
5
really
players,
quick
and a
just
couple
putting
of
some reasons
couple of words,
why.
right? Okay, so I will go through my lineup. So, like, to make things clear, there's no Luka, there's no Giannis. That's too obvious and too easy. My point guard is Dennis Schroeder.
Okay.
The reason is there's no other star player in the tournament that his highs are so high and lows are so low. And his game is like this, up and down, up and down, up and down. But when it comes to crunch time against Lithuania, for example, in the overtime, he scored big buckets, and alongside with Modolo, led Germany to an important victory. So Dennis Schroeder is an exciting player. We all see that every team is going under him. Just let him shoot a free, because he's not shooting very well. He's hitting the rim most of the time, but he doesn't lose his confidence. And that's what makes him an exciting player to watch. You could feel that he can explode at any moment. Like facing Montenegro, it wouldn't surprise me if he goes for 30 or more and leads his team. But also, it wouldn't surprise me if he goes 1 from 9 shooting frees. So anything can happen with him. He's so unpredictable. My shooting guard is Tyler Dorsey. Tyler Dorsey has a good tournament. His numbers dropped a little bit after the last 2 games, but he started in the first game when he was very hot. Dimitris Itoudis even reacted to BasketNews tweeting about Tyler Dorsey, right?
That was a good one.
He's a good, pure shooting guard and a really great fit for this team, playing alongside Giannis. Giannis needs shooters around him, and Tyler Dorsey is probably the best shooter right now, looking at the numbers for Greece, I mean.
To give you some rest, I will go with my perimeter players. I love how Marius Grigonis is playing in this tournament. I think that he's kind of Marius Grigonis we saw in his best season with Žalgiris Kaunas. He's scoring almost 16 points, and he's making 43% of 3-pointers, almost free threes per game. And he's so different. I mean, he has huge character, he has huge confidence, and it seems like it translates to some other players. And I really believe that Panathinaikos fans are really happy, watching him play that way, because this is Marius Grigonis we were missing. Hopefully, he will have a few more great games in the playoffs. And of course, I just loved Maudolo, because this team was all about Schroeder, Wagner, I don't know, Thijs, Voigtman, just name it, who's on German national team. But Maudolo was just great. He
was cooking.
He was cooking. As I said, he in some games, and especially some stretches against France or even Lithuania, he just killed us, and killed us based on his skill, and it was just impossible to stop him. And he was just enjoying himself and playing with these guys together. So yeah, I really loved watching him. I think that his average is like 11 or 12 points, if I'm correct. But I mean, the impact he makes on the court, and especially in big games, was huge.
So my small forward is Krunoslav Simon.
Good old Kruno.
Good old Kruno, really. His numbers are surpassing Hezonja's. He's the leader of the team.
impressive.
He has the ball in his hands during the most important possessions. He plays a lot of pick and roll actions. I mean, he's playing alongside Jalen Smith, Bojan Bogdanovic, Mario Hezonja. Dario Šarić is not in a very good shape, but he's still there. And despite the fact that these EuroLeague and NBA players are around him, it's the good old Kruno that does the things. And against Greece, he made really crazy floaters. The usual shots for him, but for other players, those shots are probably impossible. So a lot of respect. You're a veteran. People see you as an old player, but then you're stepping up when the team needs you. That's why I have him in my lineup.
And who's your other forward, let's say?
Yeah, I will put Lauri Markkanen at the power forward position. There's not much to be said. I've been praising Markkanen in our previous podcast, and he's just a great player. Always a joy to watch him on the court.
Yeah, I have Tariq Tarpe, if it's a good pronunciation, or just Terry Tarpe, because
since he has American roots and Lithuanian roots apparently.
I mean, it felt like in every big team has some Lithuanian roots. At first, it was Mark Cuban, whose grandmother, I think.
He said grandmother.
Yeah,
right?
she was actually from Lithuania. Tariq Tarpe also had grandfather from Lithuania, but I did a research, and it seems like that grandfather was already living in States.
So he left during the war, probably.
In 1926, something like that.
Okay.
And from what I heard, from what I was told, they left on a ship, as a lot of immigrants did, and that's where he lived. Of course, there was some basketball history,
but you have to respect that the guy knows his roots, like.
Yeah, and he's coming from a family of, I think, his grandfather had 12 children. Can you imagine 12 children? So Terry is one of 16, and
you can talk a bit about his basketball, because he's been
that's the main reason.
The revelation of the tournament. Like I've never known that Le Mans Sarthe Basket had such a great basketball player.
Amazing 3-and-D guy.
His defensive abilities are.
Of course, we're talking about the guy.
So impressive.
Which team allowed 47 points by Luka Doncic, but I mean,
that's not on him.
Yeah,
that's not on him.
He's a glue guy, and he's stepping up in at least at some level to replace what Nicola Batum.
Do you think he's earning a contract here?
I think that teams are calling them on, for
his
a
agent's
potential
phone
buyout.
is probably hot.
Yeah, probably all the other agents are now hunting him to get him on their list. I mean, he's a nice glue guy in that French team, and he just got this starting 5 role, although, I mean, we're talking about the guy who's 27, 28, and he just had 1 year FIBA Champions League experience, and that's it. No EuroCup, no EuroLeague, nothing, just the French league. So he's been great. And I had another German guy, Franz Wagner, because of his versatility, the way how nice it seems like he's dancing on the court, the way he moves, how soft his touch is, but at the same time that defensively he's making all these blocks, and he's just very nice young guy, being very polite in the mixed zone. When Bosnian journalists are asking him about Bosnia, about the team he probably never saw before, and they're already asking about that team after some win probably against Lithuania, and he's just so polite, trying to be respectful. Then he's thanking me for saying that you guys are a fun team to watch. So he's a very good.
I love the fact that his brother Moritz is cheering for the team.
Yeah, and he's very important actually.
Yes,
he's taking very important.
Did you know that there's a Moritz Wagner mural here in Berlin? We should go see that.
No.
Yep,
that's interesting. Yep. For what reason? I know he's a great basketball player, but in Germany, in Berlin, monument for Moritz Wagner?
Mural.
Okay.
Just probably basketball fans just love him. Our Berlin fans probably love him.
Yeah. Okay. And the last one,
I respect your lineup. Okay. Those are great picks. At center, Jonas Valanciunas. Monster performances. So much passion from him. I've never seen him so passionate. Right now, he's the captain of the team, leading by example. He's matured a lot since his first EuroBasket. That was in 2011. I think this is the best Jonas Valanciunas we've seen. And even though he has problems on defense, and other teams are always trying to expose him with their pick and rolls, especially if they have good guards that shoot the ball. But what he does in the paint under the rim. When he gets the ball, it's going to be a dunk or a foul. His stats from the last 3 games are crazy.
34, 21, 13, rebounds, 14, 8,
He's a
15.
beast.
He dished 5 assists in 2 games.
Yes. That's one thing that really surprised me. Some really great passes. There was one possession where he got the ball on the 3-point line, like Andrew Bogut for Australia, just making a pass like this.
Yeah.
So, Jonas Valanciunas, JV, big man.
I also had him because I won't forget for quite some time after this double overtime game against Germany where he scored 34 and had 14 rebounds, 5 assists, 2 blocks. The efficiency rating was 45, but if we include fouls he draw, it should be around 57, which is amazing. And I think that he's third best in double-doubles in all EuroBasket history. But anyway, after that game, he was barely walking, actually. He left the press conference in pain. He started to shout.
The last time I saw somebody being so tired was Jimmy Butler in the NBA Finals when he had to play a whole game against the Lakers. So really, and then he had only 1 day off, and we're playing the crucial game against Boston, and he's back. He's doing all the same things.
He was playing against Hungary, but still it was that game for Lithuania, and he was dominant, 21 points in 18 minutes. So just for the way he sacrifices for this team, I mean, his leadership skills is just still funny to me. I mean, this speech where it was like,
I know,
come on guys, come on,
but he
do
has
something.
But he has so much respect from everybody.
No, he's all in for Lithuania. He never missed the national team competitions.
He's a true patriot.
From when he was 15, I think.
Yes,
he was always suiting up for our national team, and he's
this country.
Barely walking. He's giving his all on the court. I mean, it deserves a lot of respect, and his number is impressive. 18 points, 11 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 block. I mean, we have to leave this.
People want us out.
Yeah, I saw that they're hurrying us up. So thanks a lot for watching us. Rytis Vyšniauskas, Donatas Rublinas. See you soon. And of course, follow basketnews.com. Please click like button on below this video, because it really helps us to grow. And of course, subscribe us if you didn't do it before. So thanks a lot. See you soon.
Hey everyone.
Hey fans, Pau Gasol here.
Courtside 1891 is your home to stream EuroBasket 2022. Visit Courtside 1891 today.
Don't miss the action, live or on demand.